Junior Keikoewa Jr., we'd like to welcome our international pages. So we'd like to welcome TikTok, Trovo, YouTube, Twitch, and also two Facebook pages and also Instagram. So welcome and good morning. It's Memorial Day in America, and this is the day that we honor our veterans. This is the day that we say thank you for your sacrifice. We say thank you to our veterans who have come home from war, and we also honor those, most especially that have made the ultimate or paid the ultimate sacrifice for us so that we may live the way we do. So we'd like to acknowledge our veterans and our service people who are serving currently and honor them well and recognize them for a second. There you go. Okay. So now, what are we talking about this morning? This morning, hey Emery, good morning. This morning, we are going to discuss how your life path unfolds and how doubt and fear begin to go like this. Okay? It doesn't exactly push it back in, but it holds it back from coming forth. You are projecting your life out. Okay? It's like you're a movie projector, okay? But you're projecting this movie outward as you go. Okay, it's similar to when you're driving down the street at night with no street lights and you have a car and the headlights only go so far, right? Maybe 200 feet, but you keep driving, right? You keep driving. You don't stop the car because there's no lights. Your lights project 200 feet and you keep driving. And you drive with confidence and you drive fast, don't you? Okay, so it's the same principle. Your life is being projected from within. All the experiences you have. A lot of people think that, well, my life is just responding to everything that's going on. No, your life is unfolding for you. Your life is happening for you, not to you. Your life never happens to you. If that were the case, then everyone would live a reactionary life. Now, what's the difference between a reactionary life and an intentional life? Well, an intentional life is where you begin to intend something to happen, and then it happens. And you pray for something to happen, and it happens. And you meditate on something to happen, and it happens. And you write things down for it to happen, a plan. Let's say it that way. You want to call it a plan? And then it happens. How do these things happen? Well, I can tell you from experience that the thing that prompted me to begin my journey in these areas was that my life had become very successful overnight. It started its climb like that, so to speak, right? There is no climb. There is no ladder to success, okay? Let's just say that. It's all imaginary, okay? People paint this in other people's heads, okay? But just for the sake of visuals, okay, my career went like that all of a sudden out of nowhere. Okay, did I just step into the profession and boom? No, I actually worked in the profession for, at that point, about 30 years. Okay, but here's the thing, right, about persistence. When you are persistent, or let's say it another way, when you keep at it with baby steps, it cannot not happen. You just don't know how it's going to happen. When it happened for me, I did not know how it was going to happen. I did not know the very first day when I, sat in for this guy, right, that this was the beginning of the doors opening. I had no idea. By the third day, I knew. By the third day, I'm like, whoa, okay, you better start performing the best you ever did, or this door is going to close, you see. But what I'm saying for your life is everybody has different doors. Everybody has a different thing that they're working on. Some people's dream is to be in a log cabin in the mountains all by themselves away from everybody. That's their dream. That's their dream life. Fishing, living off the land, fishing in a lake, those types of things. So, in that respect, that's success for those people. Okay, so everybody wants something different. If we all wanted the same thing, there wouldn't be enough. But the world is abundant. The world is abundant. There's more than enough for everyone. Okay, you are just being conditioned to believe there is not enough. You are being conditioned to think there is not enough. Because when you start to operate in lack, okay, or less than, or let's say it another way, fear that things are running out, there's not enough, okay, what happens to your life path? It begins to slow down from unfolding. So your life path, for a visual, unfolds like this, okay? When you begin to fear, it slows down, okay? It doesn't always stop. It depends on the degree of fear. Sometimes it stops. And what happens? And it recedes, okay? And how do we know this? Well, sometimes a lot of money comes in, right? And one thing will happen. One thing will go wrong. And it will trigger the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Pretty soon, money's going out. Bills are coming. Things get damaged. You think it's a string of bad luck. It's presented that way to you. But things are going wrong. Why? Because now your vibration is lowering. Now you're down here in fear. And what happens when you are fearing, everything is going away. When you are not fearing, okay, what's the opposite of fear? Love. When you are loving, okay, so all the positive vibrations, okay, are of love, the lowest of which is satisfaction. If you're satisfied, right? Okay, I'm satisfied. You're on the right track. Satisfaction, hope, enthusiasm, excitement, passion, joy, gratitude, peace, and love. There you go. Okay? That's the scale. Love is over here at the high side. Okay? Over here at the low side is fear. Okay? So all of these emotions, all of these feelings dictate whether or not you receive or things get taken. And this is why God is referred to as love. Because when you're operating in love, you're operating in the same exact state you were born in. You were born in love. And then what happened? Well, then life happens. Then we have experiences. And then we begin to fluctuate. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And hopefully, this side outnumbers this side. Or these experiences outnumber these experiences. But you have the power to change. You have the power, if you're on this side, to pull it over to this side. And it's just thought. That's all it is. So happiness is your default. Joy is your default. When I woke up this morning, I couldn't wait to get to work. When I woke up this morning, I was like, yeah, I want to see what I can do today. I work with human beings. As a life coach, I work with people, but I don't life coach the way others life coach. I've seen those things. You can get a one size fits all. You can get a one size fits all thing and give it to the 30, 100 people, sell them packages. That we don't do that. I don't do that. I work with every single human being, and I change every single life in 90 days. 90 days. But most of my clients, because I do a certain type of client. That's why I'm here doing this for free for you. Okay, I'm doing this for free for you. My clients are what I call high performance professionals. Okay, high performance meaning they have stressful jobs, they have big jobs. My CEO is responsible for a lot of people. My attorneys, they're responsible for a lot of people. Okay, they're responsible for huge workloads. So why is this a thing or important or whatever or like that? Well, because when you understand what's in here, and when you understand how to use your energy, and when you understand what your energy is and what you really are, okay, because you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives in here. And it's that energy or spirit or soul, you want to call it a soul, everybody has their own term for it, okay? But that energy, that soul, will unfold according to your paradigm and your core beliefs. And that will bring out your life path. There are certain things that you have control over, and there are certain things that are genetic or that run in your family, or let's say it another way, tendencies, things that you are prone to do, things that you tend to do based upon what your parents did, what your grandparents did, what your great grandparents did. And some of these things get filtered down, and you have an interest. Or maybe you see one of your family members do something and you go, wow, yeah, that's what we do. And you carry on the tradition. Okay, some people are like that. When you look at genetics, you go, oh, okay, these traits are passed down. You know, I owned a horse for 11 years. And this is where I learned that a long time ago. Because when you train a horse, and the horse is highly trained, the babies come out smart. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I bought the horse. I didn't know anything when I bought the horse. The manifestation of the horse was from when I was a child, when I was 12 years old. And it stayed in the back of my head, and it kept being a consideration. And then, you know, I kept thinking every time I saw a horse. You know, I went back to that same horse I saw when I was 12. Every time I saw a horse on TV, I always thought about a horse. I always thought about the same horse. And then when I got the horse looked exactly like that horse in my childhood when I was 12. And then not only that, but the right horse came, okay, and she was hyperactive like the owner. And then we met the right horse trainer, and he made her smart. And he brought out the smartest parts of her, right? Because horses aren't that smart. They're not as smart as dogs. I didn't know that either. Dogs are smarter than horses. But she was smart, and he made her smarter. Therefore, her babies are smart. I don't know the babies yet. I'm going to meet one day. But my point is, these things that you gravitate to for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're not living a random life. You can bounce around like a, you know, like a video game. You can bounce from side to side, and you can have a reactionary life like that. But when you have a purposeful life, when you have a purpose, when you realize what your purpose is, sometimes your purpose is hereditary. In my case, my purpose is hereditary. If your purpose is hereditary, you have a natural knack for it. It comes naturally. Okay? You channel these things. Channel. Whoa, is that witchcraft? No, it's subconscious and superconscious. How does that happen? How does it happen that way? Well, you've channeled before too. You just don't see it as that. Have you ever explained something to someone? Explain like, oh, this is how you do this. This is how you do this thing. And then you start speaking things that not even you know you knew. And you go, whoa, I hope I remember this. I hope I remember this because I didn't even know I knew this. And it's coming out of your mouth in real time, and you're observing yourself speak. And you're like, boy, I better write this down when I go home. I better memorize this. I better remember what I said, right? That's channeling. It's channeling from the superconscious or from God. Or you can call it infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence works through you. You just have to apply yourself to a purpose. So the question becomes, what are you going to apply yourself to? Well, some people apply themselves to mechanics, and they fix cars, and that's what they love, and that's what they do. And some of them give birth to more mechanics, and it goes down the line like that. Well, my grandfather was a mechanic, my father was a mechanic, And they do it very well, right? Because it's inbred. When I first started teaching, both of my parents are teachers. And when I first started teaching, my mother told me, well, teaching is inbred. I thought that was odd. I'm like, inbred? What? I didn't pay very much attention to it until I started getting further into my teaching, okay? Because when you teach, you have to study. You can't just teach, you have to study, and you have to study first. And if you really want to learn something, teach it. So I started teaching years later, years down the line. My son started teaching. And I looked at him and I go, wow, okay. But his style of teaching was different. He was a drill sergeant in the military, in the army. He became a drill sergeant. But before he became a drill sergeant, he did his studies. He was a Marine before that. Then he went into the army and he became a teacher. So these things come down the line. Now, not everyone's purpose is the same. My purpose is not like my mother's or my father's or my son's. It's very different. Nothing is right or wrong unless, of course, it affects someone in a negative way, right? Nothing is wrong. It's just different. So now we come to the physical matrix. So we live in a physical matrix, yet we're spiritual beings. How does that work? Well, part of us, okay, half of us is physical. Half of us is spiritual, the energy in here. Where is the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious? It's all in here. Okay? But it unfolds from within. And people don't realize it. They just think, well, this thing happened today and I received this today and I did this today and I saw these people today. And they see it as coincidence. So, in metaphysical and spiritual teachings, life is seen as a reflection of your inner state. It's the law of correspondence. The universal law of correspondence says that everything out here in your physical world began in here. So like yesterday, I said, if you see a person with a messy desk, they're messy in here. They're chaotic in here. If their desk is chaotic, they're chaotic in here. If you go into their office and everything is in place and everything is neat, you see those people? It's because they're that way in here. Because everything out here in your world is an expression of what's in here. Is this just a default and this is just a default? No, you have control over it. You can correct it, you can fix it, you can adjust it, you can tweak it, you can remedy it, you can fix it. How do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. The 4 pillars. In psychology, your mindset, perceptions, self-concept, influence, how you interpret and respond to events. This in turn shapes your reality. In quantum physics, consciousness-based perceptive, right? Conscious-based perceptive. What is that? Well, how you perceive consciousness. Okay. Your awareness and attention create or collapse possibilities into tangible experiences. What does that mean? Well, when you observe something, it becomes reality. And you have a choice. That gets pretty deep. We're not going to discuss that today, but that gets pretty deep. But what I'm saying is it shows up in spiritual teachings, it shows up in psychology, it shows up in quantum physics, it shows up in science. So these are real things. These are real things for the human being. This is not just woo woo kind of like, okay, well, this is a hypothesis and we think it happens like this. No, we know it happens like this. There's evidence that it happens like this. And this happens at every stage of life. So how can I change something now? Well, there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. That's all there is. The superconscious we call God. And however you believe in that area is up to you. I'm not here to tell you how to believe. Okay. But I will tell you that when you get intuitive thought, you are being spoken to. You don't hear it as a voice. If you're hearing voices, you have another kind of problem. Okay? You don't hear it as a voice, you get it as a feeling. You're driving down the street and you feel you have to turn here, but you have free will. So you say no, and you keep going, and you get stuck in the traffic jam, and what do you say? I knew I should have turned over there. Because you did know. You did know. But you overrode that feeling. It's a feeling. Now, there's a difference between feeling and memory. Feeling and memory. Okay, intuition and memory. That's an example of intuition. Okay, now I'm going to show you how good your memory is. Okay, because we always go around saying, "Oh, my memory's going. I'm getting old. I have a bad memory, or I just have a bad memory." No, you don't have a bad memory. You get distracted. That's what it is, and you get distracted from all of these thoughts in here. And these thoughts that you get distracted from are from your conscious mind, the frontal lobe of your brain. Let me show you how that works. You go in the refrigerator and you get the ketchup. And you're using the ketchup and you go, wow, I only have this much left. And you put it back in the refrigerator. Now, a couple of days later, you're at the store and you're walking through the aisle and you see the ketchup and something grabs you. Something goes, hey, 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 ketchup. Okay? And you go, you stare at the ketchup and you go, do I need ketchup? And you start thinking. And pretty soon you go, no, that's okay. I don't think I need ketchup. And then you go home. And then later that evening, you're preparing dinner. You're in the refrigerator again, and you see, oh, I only have this much ketchup. And what do you say? I knew I should have gotten ketchup. Okay, that's memory. That's memory. There's a difference. Okay, intuitive thought and memory is very different. However, you have a great memory. Your subconscious holds all of your memories, all of your experiences, all of your trauma. Trauma is an emotional experience that sticks out because it was amplified, because it meant something, because it scared you. So when something is traumatic, that just means it stuck out. It happened in a big way that scared you. Can you fix it? Sure. Of course you can fix it. There's all kinds of ways to fix it. But first you have to realize what these things are. And we call this awareness. You have to be aware of what it is that's preventing you from moving forward. What is it? If it's fear, okay, anxiety. So let's run down the fear side. Okay, so it's like this. This is the middle. Okay, fear is over here. Okay, this is fear way down here. These are all the emotions that are of fear, that belong to fear. Worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and then fear down here. So you have all these negative emotions here. Okay. When you begin feeling these emotions, you have control over your thoughts. You can say no. You can say stop. But if you don't direct your mind to something, your mind will attack you. It will attack you. Thank you. It will attack you. And then what? Well, then you start being pulled into this reality, into this negative mindset, because everything is mindset. You know, it's like yesterday we talked about attachment like this. Okay? We talked about attachment being like this and how attachment anchors you. Attachment holds you. And that when you free yourself from attachment, now you can move forward easily. Now it's easy. Okay? So, how do we detach from negative thoughts? Say stop or say no. The same way you train a dog, you have to train your mind the same way you train a puppy. If you have a puppy, you already have the solution. No. Stop. Okay? It works for me that way because I always have to be on a diet because I love food. I love food. Okay? And it's in my genetics, right? It's also in my belief system, but it's also in my genetics. And it runs in the family. If we don't watch what we eat, we put on weight like that. It's just genetic like that in our family. So we have to be careful. So I write affirmations. I am so happy. Let me get my pen for the visual. I like to use my pen for the visual so that you know that you can do it too. I am so happy and grateful now that I weigh 195 pounds. Thank you. You don't want to write, I am so happy and grateful now that I am losing weight. Because God, infinite intelligence, superconscious consciousness does not recognize negatives. The reason God doesn't recognize negatives is because God is not negative. There's nothing about God that is negative. Therefore, God does not recognize negatives. So don't put negatives in your affirmations, okay? Because what happens, I see a lot of kids do that. A lot of younger people do make that mistake. They'll learn, they'll catch it, okay? But they have people write these affirmations and declarations that really don't make any sense. So be careful. So what you want to do is you want to have your target weight, okay? I am so happy and grateful now that I weigh whatever it is, 150 pounds, 195 pounds, 200 pounds. Now, being realistic, okay, and the subconscious requires you to be realistic or something that you can easily wrap your mind around, okay, your subconscious mind. Okay, so it has to be something small and then build from there. So if your target weight is, let's say, 175 pounds and you're 250 pounds, start with, I am so happy and grateful now that I am 200 pounds. Thank you. When you reach your goal of 200 pounds, I am so happy and grateful now that I am 190 pounds. Thank you. Because you can adjust, you can tweak, you can modify, but you have to do it in realistic increments. Because if you just target the weight and it's a 300-pound difference, 200-pound difference, that's a big job. That's a big job. Okay, so now you have the formula, now you have the way. So if, when I started writing money affirmations, I got to $5,000. I wrote, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have $5,000. And within not even 2 weeks, within 5 days, $5,000 came right through the door. But it came in the way of contracts. It came in the way of clients. It came in the way of business. Money that just doesn't drop out of the sky, okay? But I had to start with $20. Then I went 50, then I went 100, then I went 200, then 500, then, like that. So it went like that. If I would have started writing, I am so happy and grateful now that I have an extra $5,000 this month. Thank you. If I did that right off, like it would not have happened. if I would have set out and created all of my companies at once, it would not have happened. We started with a production company, which became a digital consultant company, which, and our other companies along the way. So you have to take things in stages. You have to take something small and grow it. You have to start small and grow it. In our digital age, the number one problem that I see with my teenagers is they expect success tomorrow. That doesn't happen. Success does not happen tomorrow. Everyone has a different idea of success. So to me, success is relative. I don't know. I don't know what success is for myself. I really don't. Okay. I see it as it's an invisible target, so to speak. So the Russian writer Leon Trotsky said that success is living your life in your own way. That was Leon Trotsky that said that. And like I said, some people want to go and live in a log cabin and not be bothered, and that's their idea of success. Success is not, if the only thing you think about as success is a lot of money, you're suffering from limited thinking. That's not what it is. So then how can we become more successful in what we are doing? Briley, is it Briley? Briley? You've seen me somewhere before. Yeah, probably. I've been on TikTok for years and years. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Manuel, welcome. Maria, welcome. Henry, welcome. Julio, welcome. Mark, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. So now, how do you define success? Well, you need to define it. You need to write about it. What is success for you? And make a list. If success is children, make a list. How many children? Make a list. How many boys? How many girls? Make a list. Is success your own home? Okay, write it. I bought a 5-story home because I thought that was the dream home and wanted to experience the dream home. Okay, 5 stories in the Nuuanu Valley up on the hill, right overlooking everything. And I thought that was success, and it was success for a while. And then it got old, and I sold it, and now I'm down here in the city. So, and I'm like, well, because life is short. Okay, you want to buy that one home and stay in that one home until you die? Okay, that if that's success for you, if that's the way you want to live, okay. My life is about experiences. My life is about living my dreams. My life is about saying, okay, here's the target. We're going to do this. Once you've been there and done that, move on. Well, for me, okay, that's how I talk to me, for me, right? Move on, do something else. There's also timing, okay? You have to time things. How do you know it's the right time? Pay attention to intuitive thought. Intuitive thought will tell you. Or let's say it another way, gut feeling, you can call it that. Intuition, gut feeling, hunches, you can call it all of those things, but that's what it is. That's the superconscious speaking to you. That's God talking to you. And how do you know when the time is right to do something? Ask. So many people don't ask. It's in all the holy books. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, your subconscious is obligated to answer. Your subconscious communicates with the superconscious. Most people get to the superconscious with deep meditation. If you're not doing deep meditation, then you'll only experience the superconscious in intuitive thought, and you will think that a lot of things are coincidences because you haven't been in deep meditation. You have to be in delta wave state. Most of us get to theta wave state and then we begin our day again. Okay, so delta is deep sleep, deep meditation. Okay, we'll go over brainwave states. We've done it before. We'll probably do it again tomorrow. I think it's a good time. I think it's a good week. It's a good week that we revisit these things. When you're in theta state, when you're in relaxed state before you go to bed, when you first wake up in the morning out of delta, okay, that's when you need to write your affirmation. That's when you need to speak things into existence. Now, you don't have to write if you don't want to. Some people are lazy. Some people, they go, well, they don't see the value in it, okay? Or they're lazy. It's okay to be lazy. Lazy people have come up with the best inventions in mankind. The best inventions ever invented were invented by lazy people. Because all these modern inventions that they keep coming up with, it's an easier way to do things. It's a faster way to do things. You don't have to do these 10 steps. Now you press one button, right? So lazy people make good inventors. Nothing wrong with being lazy, okay? Eating like a king. Yeah, you eat like a king, Manuel. You're very welcome, P. You're very welcome. Manuel, my friend in Belgium, he eats like a king. Oh my gosh, you should see the meals that he prepares. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's very expensive to eat like that in America. Uh, but yeah, Manuel, thank you for being here. We need to catch up, my brother. Yeah. So design your life and create an intentional life for yourself. How do you do that? Make a list. Make a list. What kind of house you want to live in? Don't just end up at a house. Design your house. The design starts here first, and then you see something. Go, hey, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about one like that. And then what? And then pursue that. The problem is that most people suffer from limiting beliefs. So when they look at that, they go, well, yeah, that looks, but they can't see themselves in the house. As soon as I saw my dream home, as soon as I saw my 5-story dream home, I said, yep, I can see myself there. I could see myself on the balcony outside the master bedroom overlooking the entire valley. I said, yep, I can see myself there. And before you know it, I was there. I put it up in my Facebook stories every once in a while. So when I'm lying on my deathbed, right, I lived in my dream home. I drove my dream car. I lived all my dreams and fantasies. That's all I do. If it's not a part of my dreams or fantasies or those things, I don't do it. I just don't do it. I remember my mother when I was in high school. You know, she said, you'll never make any money playing music. I made over $1 million playing music. But she was right in her way, because back in the day, the only thing that she saw were gig musicians. And if I was a gig musician, yeah, if playing in a lounge or a bar or yeah, that would not have worked. That would have not made money. I have the highest amount of respect for gig musicians, though. They're doing what. Now, do you think I went back to my mom and said, Mom, guess what? Remember when we said, remember when you said I wouldn't make any money playing music? Well, we crossed the $1 million mark. You think I said that? Of course not. Of course not. But I was ecstatic. And inside, I had that satisfaction because when I was 12 years old, I knew I could do it. When I was 12 years old, I knew I would do it. So when I put my name in and I'm not flexing, I'm saying you can do this. I'm saying this is possible for you. You can do all of this and more. Okay, everybody has different goals, different dreams, different things they want to manifest, or say it another way, different things they want to accomplish in life. And you can do it. But when I put my name in a search bar, I see everything that I fantasized about when I was 12 years old. Everything. It's all there. It's it it all came out, is what I'm saying. It's in here, in you. It's here. Okay? It comes out and projects itself forward as your life path. If there's no doubt and there's no fear. Every time there's doubt and fear, it slows down this mechanism. It slows like this. Okay, sometimes it's still in motion depending on the degree of fear. If there's trauma, it may stand still. What happens when the fear subsides? It starts moving again. It starts delivering again. And you know this because when you're in a bad mood, when you're angry, when you're frustrated, it's almost like you're in an energetic timeout because things stand still. You ever been so mad everything stands still? Maybe you were too preoccupied with being angry that you couldn't notice that everything stood still. You can make time stand still. You ever been with somebody you love and all of a sudden you look at your watch, you go, oh my God, 1 hour went by, right? Because you made time stand still. In the positive, the same thing happens in anger. So on this side, again, I'll say on this side, the highest vibration is love. On this side, the lowest vibration is in fear. Okay, and anger is just like, a few steps above fear. Okay, so anger is like about there, right? Fear is down here, love is up here. When you're in fear, when you're in anger, when you're in guilt, shame, anxiety, despair, you can make time stand still. Because you get so angry, and then you look at the clock and you go, oh my God, I was so angry I forgot what time it was, right? And you're with that person you love, right? And you're just into that person. You're just in that experience. Both of you are in a bubble. And then you look at your watch and you go, oh my God, I didn't realize like this much time went by. 2 hours went by, and it felt like a minute because you're here in love. So, either extreme can make time stand still. Why? Well, because if you're angry, you slow down that process. Okay? When your life path is unfolding, and it will unfold if you're happy in your natural state. So, happiness is your natural state, love is your natural state, peace is your natural state, joy, gratitude is your natural state. When you're in your natural state, what happens? Good things come. You experience good things. When you're in that love bubble, what happens? Time stands still. You're in joy. You're in love. Time is irrelevant. Okay? And time is also an illusion. Einstein proved that. It's an illusion, but we need it. We need it for society. We need a calendar. We need to keep track of things. We need to keep track of employment and hours and yada, 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 yada. But when you're experiencing that kind of love, when you're both vibing on the same frequency, when you're in that bubble, time stands still. When you're down here in fear and you're in anger and you're going through that extreme, time stands still over there too. But it's a different kind of standing still. And you cannot recuperate this time. You cannot recuperate this time either. What we refer to as time. So I'll say it again. When you spend your life, you spend your time. When you spend your time, you spend your life. Now, what about the investment of time? When you invest your time in someone, or you invest your time in something, there is always residuals. Always. I've invested tons of my time in human beings for 36 years. A lot of free time. A lot of time I never charged anybody for anything. Why? Because I invest in human beings. Because I understand the value of investing in human beings. Parents invest in their children, right? People have invested time in you. You ever had that teacher in high school or elementary school when you don't understand something, or you really need help with something, or because you're excelling in something and they see the opportunity to take you higher, what do? They spend a little extra time with you. They invest in you. The dividends pay off for you, but the dividends also pay off for them. So when you invest your time in someone, you invest your life, part of your life in someone. So invest your time. Your time is more valuable than anything. If you think that money is the most valuable thing, if you think that everything is money and money is, then money is your God. Money cannot be your God. Money is an energy, but it's not your God. Don't make it your God. You ever see those people with credit cards and they handle the credit card like this when they give it to you or give it back to you, right? They're worshiping money. Money is a sacred object to them. The credit card becomes a sacred object in their lives. Money's not sacred. You're sacred. God lives in here. The kingdom is in here. The kingdom is within. And the kingdom unfolds for you if you allow it. It's all about allowing. Yesterday, one of my clients, he plays piano. And he was just really uptight as a person when he got to me. And he's been with me for months now. And yesterday, he's a very, very highly skilled pianist. Okay, but he doesn't allow it out. It's all here because he learned it. It's all subconscious, but he doesn't understand the subconscious process. Well, he understood yesterday. He understood it much, much, much better yesterday. Okay, and I got him down to a relaxation level where his subconscious just allowed his fingers to fly over the piano. And guess what? It all made sense. It all made sense. Because he already knew these things. So many people, so many educated people, okay? My high performance professional clients that I always talk about, okay, those people, I'm here for free for you guys. So, and you can watch this again. You can, if you really don't get it, like, oh, Uncle's kind of out there, watch it again. It's going to make sense to you, okay? But once you learn something and commit it to your subconscious, you have to be in the proper frequency to allow it out properly. If you're not in the correct frequency, or let's say it another way, if you're not in the correct mood or vibration, it's not going to come out right. So yesterday I said, okay, now relax a little bit more. Relax. It's about allowing it out. It's not about forcing it. It's not about doing this. Because if you play the piano like this, you're going to miss it. My best friend was a virtuoso on the piano. But I had to get him to the confidence level to where he started inventing new things, and eventually he became my orchestra. Eventually, he had the system where he could be the whole band by himself. Eventually. But first, he had to become confident with his playing. So now I'm doing it with this guy. And I said, you have to relax. Don't be so uptight inside. You already know these things. You've studied it for years. He goes, yes, I have a degree in music. He has a degree in music. He has a degree in IT. He has, yeah, very, very smart, okay? But inside he's like this. Inside he's walking around like this. Inside he's like that. Okay? I don't care how much knowledge you have in here. I don't care how much how to you have in here. If you're walking around like this represents fear. This represents being uptight. This represents being closed off. This represents limiting yourself. If you walk around in limitation, I don't care how much you know, it's not going to come out right. And it's going to sit in here without coming out. So, how did it end? What's the end of the story? The end of the story is I brought him down in relaxation and I communicated the fact that he has to allow out rather than exert energy out, rather than try, okay? You don't try. If you already know it, it's committed to your subconscious, you relax into it. You know Zen archery, right? They're fully relaxed when they do that. The target's over there and they pull the bow like this and they let go and it hits the bullseye over there where they're not looking because they see the target in their mind because they've done it 1,000 times and they've committed it to their subconscious. So what happened when he did that? His fingers flew across the piano and he goes, whoa, he goes, I have a music degree and you just taught me how to play. I said, no. I taught you how to relax. I taught you how to access your subconscious. It's there, but you need to know how to allow it out. Same thing for you. The same thing for you. It's about allowing what you know out. If you're hesitating, it's fear. At the roots, it's fear. If you're procrastinating, it's fear. At the roots, there's something about it that you're uncomfortable about bringing out. You're uncomfortable about it. If you're uncomfortable, it's not going to come out the right way. I don't care if it's something you have to say. I don't care if it's something you have to write. I don't care if it's something you have to do. Whatever it is, whatever that action is, we all have gifts. You have a gift. You have a special gift to offer the world. But unless you allow it out in the right way, you're always going to be like, okay, I'll let this much out. Okay, I'll let that much out. Okay, oh, I'm going to hold back. I'll procrastinate. Okay, oh, now I'll let a little bit more out, like that. Okay? So I'm here to tell you that you need to get all the way down. What's the fastest way? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Now, if you're putting something into your subconscious, visualization number 1, audio. Number 2, vocalization. Okay, what's the fastest way to calm and clear? It's not so much a calming, it's a clearing. You want to clear yourself of overthinking. You want to clear yourself of anxiety. You want to clear yourself of grief, guilt, despair, shame. Clear yourself of this because that's not your default. Your default is love. Your default is happiness. Your default is joy. But how can you be in your natural state and allow these things if you're walking around like this, like that? Okay? So affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And then the unfolding begins. And when the unfolding begins, if there's fear, it will slow down. It will pause. When the fear goes away, it will start unfolding again. And you will receive who you are in here. Okay, the tree, one more time. The roots of the subconscious, the trunk of the tree is your paradigm built upon what it is you believe, your core beliefs. Okay, the fruits of the tree are your actions. And your actions reflect how you see the world and what you believe. And how you see the world, of course, is what you believe in your subconscious. So all of these things play out. You have control over all of these things. The conscious, subconscious, and superconscious all reside in you. It's in here. But if you don't notice these things, if you're not aware of these things, you won't access them, and you'll be grounded into the physical matrix, and then you'll see life in a totally different way, because everything will happen and you'll be reacting to this, reacting to that, oh, this happened, react to that, this happened, react to that, instead of planning everything intentionally and, oh, okay, everything is unfolding, everything is unfolding for me, everything is happening for me. Like, and the victim is the person that, well, this happened to me, so I did that. This happened, so I did that. This happened, so I remedied this over here like this, or, like that. So, yeah, that's a reactionary life. It's not an intentional life. It's not a deliberate life. Make plans. Write it down. What kind of house you want? Write it down. What kind of car you want? Write it down. What kind of girlfriend you want? Write it down. What kind of wife you want? Write it down. How many children you want? Write it down. Write everything down. Plan everything out, because when you write it, it goes into your subconscious. Your subconscious is obligated to provide you the baby steps, working with the superconscious or God to create that pathway for you to unfold your life as your life path, as your purpose. Your purpose will unfold. Your purpose will naturally expose itself, and you'll go, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. Okay? When you're making money the wrong way, or you're living life the wrong way, you'll know, because it won't feel good. Money will come in, money gets taken. Money comes in, money gets taken. Money comes in, money gets taken. It's not sticking. Something is wrong. You'll know. You'll know. When you get back to that natural state, when you get back to your happy state, when you get back to pleasant state, and you see things pick up again, you go, oh, okay, I get it. When I was angry, everything went away. Now I'm happy, everything's coming back. Oh, okay, stay happy. There you go. Anyway, we're going to say thank you very much to, Maria, thank you. Mark, thank you. Thomas, thank you. B, thank you. Everybody on TikTok, Trovo in Europe, we're on Twitch, we're on 2 Facebook pages. We're on, what else are we on? We're on TikTok, yeah, so we want to say thank you, TikTok, and we're going to let go of our international feed right now. And we say aloha from Hawaii. Join us tomorrow morning again at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. Every day, 7 days a week. This is my public service. And if you put questions in the chat, I will